Yo, what's up guys, it's RicRom here, and I just wanted to bring you guys a different type of video today. And it's going to be something somewhat fighting game related, but not really. It's going to be something more akin to talking about Marvel Rivals. So last year I kind of got into like a very big Marvel phase. It really started with a lot of media that came out, and it did start with something kind of stupid, which was the Coca-Cola advertising thing. I remember seeing like Juggernaut and Wolverine on like Coke bottles at work. And then from that, other stuff just started trickling down, like X-Men 97. And I remember seeing the rest of that series, the 94 series before that came out, just so I can be able to watch 97 in time. And then there was the Wolverine and Deadpool movie that I was really fucking cool. Then after that, we got the surprise announcement of the Marvel vs. Capcom collection. I thought that was fucking amazing, which you all know about that because that was a big thing on the channel. And then we saw McFarlane get the rights to make Marvel statues, which was pretty cool. Something a little bit more niche, but it did make waves and what I thought was pretty cool when it came to like the Marvel Comics toy collecting scene. And then from there we got Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, which was something led by Maximilian and a group of developers that he hired on to make. Then near the final part of the year we got Marvel Rivals, which is something that when it was first announced, I really didn't pay much attention to because I thought it would just kind of be like another Overwatch wannabe game, which it kind of is, but I thought it was going to be something like Gundam Evolution where it was going to live on for like about a month or two. But now it's been since it's almost February, and this game came out in December, and it's been making waves and it hasn't been slowing down since. And I don't want to bore you guys with the same history of saying that I've been an Overwatch fan since the beta, which I have been an Overwatch fan since the beta, but that's a different theme for a different video. But I'm also a big Halo fan as well, as you guys can see from the thumbnail. But the main part of this video is going to be talking about how Marvel Rivals actually just killed everything else for me. Like, I hate having to play other live service games. I'm not really a big fan of the genre. I do understand why people play it, but this is just how it's supposed to be. And this is how it's supposed to be done and how it's done right, because I'm a big Halo fan. I've always been a big Halo fan. Same thing with Overwatch, but I'm not going to give you guys the same, deal or the same type of explanation that you've seen with different millions of others of videos talking about how Overwatch fell from grace with Overwatch 2 and Halo Infinite is the cosmetic update game, and it's not really filled with anything with any content other than just the forgers making the maps. But I just want to tell you guys that, man, Marvel Rivals has been my new addiction lately. It kind of came out at the right time because I was just done, man. I was done with Overwatch 2. I really didn't care more about the game because after Overwatch Classic got taken off from the playlist, and around, I think, near the end of last year in 2024, I uninstalled Halo Infinite after playing it for about like almost 3 to 4 years since it came out. And I was just burnt out, man. I just didn't want to play those type of games anymore. I kept raging in Halo Infinite, and the population has been going down, and Overwatch just hasn't been doing anything for me lately. I know they released Juno, which is a character I really like. I think she's really cool, and it just wasn't enough to save the game for me, man. It just like every new content update just felt like it was just made to sell you things, and I hate that, man. Like, and that wasn't something like new in Overwatch when it came to the loot boxes, but they at least gave you new game modes, new maps and stuff, and new balances. And like now they're just trying to rework it to where they're going back from 5v5 to 6v6, which is fucking stupid, because what was the point of the whole 5v5? Now they just messed up a bunch of the characters. Then with Halo Infinite, there's just like no content at all, and it just feels like the same forge modes and all that stuff. And then there's the fact that there's no Griffball in the game yet. But yeah, that concludes a little segment of Overwatch and Halo, and then now I'm just going to be talking about Marvel Rivals. So yeah, I've been a big Marvel fan since I was a kid. The earliest memory I had was playing Marvel superheroes on my brother's PS1, and my first character in that game I remember picking was Doctor Doom because he had the cheats on, he had the Game Shark on. And I was really little when we started playing that game, and I remember growing up watching the Spider-Man movies and now the MCU when I got a little bit older, and then like near the end of college, I kind of phased out of the MCU because that was probably like the height of it. probably the peak of it, and then now it's not what it was, and just a lot of things just started going downhill. MVCI was a part of Marvel's going downhill, and then there was like the other Marvel games that came out, like the Avengers and Guardians of the Galaxy, and I didn't hear anything good about those games, so I was just really not into Marvel like I used to be when I was younger. But now Rivals just kind of came out in a really good year for Marvel, which had nothing to do with the movies, had a lot more to do with like the animation and like video game side of their media, which is fucking crazy because after playing Marvel Rivals and seeing how good it was, it got me back into reading comic books and stuff. But yeah, man, Marvel Rivals was just something I did not expect to like. You know, as I said earlier, I thought it was going to be something that was going to just like phase off and die as soon as the hype came in. But it looks like it's going to be going strong. As you can see, I'm playing a little bit of Season 1 here. And man, it's fucking crazy, man. And they started with the Fantastic Four, which is something really sick because Fantastic Four is the first family of Marvel. And you know, Fantastic Four has been something that's been like kind of gone, you know, because Disney tried getting the rights to it, but it didn't work until the later 2010s when they bought Fox and the rest of the other Marvel IPs off. But now it looks like everything's just coming back full circle. X-Men's getting the limelight again. You see Wolverine, Magneto, and Psylocke in Marvel Rivals, and you see like a whole new generation get into Psylocke, which is crazy. You know, because we couldn't have those characters back in MVCI back in 2017, about like 8 years ago at this point. But yeah, I'd say this was something that I just thought it came out at the perfect time for me. You know, I was done with like a lot of the gaming stuff. I wasn't playing a lot of single player games either. I was pretty busy in my personal life. But once Rivals came out, I just thought, okay, maybe I'll just do these challenges and see where this goes. And then I log in almost every day when I'm not tired and I try to play this game. I really love playing like a different types of the other characters in there. I like playing the what's it called, the DPS, or the, what are they called, not Vanguards, Duelist. But yeah, I have a decent amount of hours in this game, and I can show you like how many different like sprays I have for them. I'm going to be working on different ones, but yeah, I really like using Penny Parker, Psylocke, Wolverine, and then for the tanks I really do like using Magneto. I think he's fucking sick. But yeah, this is something I did not expect to like actually like and like sink so much time into, but I guess it's just what goes to show what happens when everything else is failing and you just don't want to vibe with it anymore and you go into do something else. Which reminds me of something that happened similarly into the fighting game genre. If some of you guys remember, it was around the time, like I think during the PS4 like stage of gaming. I don't know what console gen it was, but if you guys remember here's a little story. Here's if you guys remember Street Fighter 5 and how that had such a poor launch. And I've always been a Street Fighter fanboy since I was a kid. And then I remember, you know, my brother buying a whole PS4 just to get Street Fighter 5. And when we sat down and tried to play it, man, it was just so lackluster. It sucked. You know, you come back from like Street Fighter 4 or like I think around the time Cross Tekken and Marvel's Capcom 3, you know, had just ended, and we were just craving like more Street Fighter, and then they announced Street Fighter 5, and then it finally came out, and it just sucked, man. It had like no content, the characters kind of sucked, the art style still looked the same, and there's way less characters, there's no arcade mode, no story mode, and everything just felt so bad. And you know, around the time it just kind of just dropped Street Fighter, and then that's when other games in the same genre just started coming in and people started getting more eyes on like Tekken, Guilty Gear. I think even Mortal Kombat at that point was getting more eyes on it. I think Injustice too. But yeah, that's sort of what happens in these type of cycles, is that once you're like a loyalist to a game and they just start dropping the ball or start experimenting too much, and then it just comes out flat and you just don't give a shit about it anymore, you kind of pay attention to what other people are doing in the similar type of field, and you're like, oh, okay, maybe I'll go check out Tekken or Guilty Gear, which is something happening here where I've always been like a Halo fanboy when I was a kid, and Overwatch was something I picked up on like when it first came out, and then now seeing where the franchises are and how like much the studios that are developing them are just fucking up like the game so badly, it just makes you want to check into other stuff, which why I mentioned Gundam Evolution earlier, and I was like, yeah, that was pretty cool for like how long it lasted, and then it just kind of died, and then it got, you know, they discontinued the service. But yeah, now with Marvel Rivals, it looks like they're just doing everything good, and they're just like kind of catering to what people want, because even they themselves were Overwatch fans, and they had a falling out with Blizzard. So now they're developing Marvel Rivals, you know, and NetEase was the distributor for Overwatch, and I think now they're going to be distributing Overwatch in other parts of the world, but now they're still doing Rivals, and man, Rivals have been so lucrative, man, and like you can see like the memes everywhere on Twitter, and just, you know, you see how great it's doing, and man, it's just so good. And the fact that it's basically just like a better third person Overwatch with Marvel characters just kind of sees how good it is. And you know, Overwatch seems to be panicking, and then Halo Infinite, you know, the population is dying. So I felt like I kind of dropped the games for a good time. Like it was the best time to drop these games, and then I just picked the Marvel Rivals, and now that's become my new addiction. Also, post editing RicRom here, I just wanted to say that, yeah, I also forgot to mention why I also really like Marvel Rivals is that it's also very consumer friendly, and also like I would say, I wouldn't say gamer friendly, but like, you know, player friendly, because you know, you can buy the battle pass. It's like at least $10, and you can get like a decent amount of skins. They have highlight intros, and there's not a lot of FOMO from what I see, just only when it comes to like the seasonal like costumes. But you know, that's if you decide to buy that. But yeah, you get a lot of free stuff. There's a lot of things to do. You know, you can sink a lot of hours into this game and still be rewarded in different types of ways, like in sprays and emotes. It's still pretty early to see what else they can add to the game. But yeah, it's been really good, man. And that's something I didn't like about Overwatch, just the FOMO. I fucking hate FOMO. FOMO is going to be something I always hate when it comes to gaming. But at least they're picking up stuff that they did do well in Halo Infinite, which is like the battle pass will never expire. You can always play that battle pass, you know, as long as you buy it. And yeah, man, there's just like a lot of things to do in Marvel Rivals. That's really like the big takeaway from this, is that the game is just so like, I would say consumer friendly, because it's really good, and you don't really have to like worry about doing everything under time constraints. There are missions that help you towards your battle pass, but you can still work on them like throughout the week, and like, you know, it's more of like a leisure thing. You know, I kind of miss that, you know, just playing multiplayer games just to be more chill. And you know, of course there's always like bad matchmaking or like bad matchups. That's something else that can be discussed in a different time. But yeah, everything just feels like it should be really good going forward. They're going to be adding a new character every 1.5 months, which is crazy. You know, we just got Invisible Woman and Reed Richards, you know, Mr. Fantastic, and next we're going to get the Thing, Human Torch, and after that we don't know who we're going to get, but it looks like throughout the year, man, we're just going to get a lot of characters. And you remember when Overwatch like locked characters behind the battle pass, and now they're trying to make everything free to play. They're trying to do everything they can to keep their fan base, but I feel like it might be a little bit too late. Maybe someday a lot of people are going to go back to Overwatch, but right now Marvel Rivals seems to be like the hype new thing, and they're just doing a lot of things good just to keep the players like happy. And then that's just what I like to see, is just that developers, you know, you kind of need to go out of your way and just make your things like better and make your player base happy. And going back to the Street Fighter 5 analogy, look how Street Fighter 6 is. Although I kind of have my gripes with that game, it's gotten a lot more players. The fan base is very healthy, you know, and there's a decent amount of content and a lot of eyes on it now, compared to when SF5 first launched, like within its first year. But yeah, that's really what I want to edit here and, you know, talk about. But yeah, man, Marvel Rivals is like, they're doing everything right, and I'm glad to be a part of it. I'm glad to support it. I bought a few skins, but yeah. And you know, and this year I really want to get back into playing more single player games, and of course I'm going to be going back to streaming some fighting games. I really don't like playing single player games on stream, because then it feels like I have to stream it every time I play it. But fighting games is going to be something I'm going to get back into, you know, when it comes to content creation. But I might also do a Marvel Rivals video every now and then, because it does get like a decent amount of views, but it's something I really like enjoying playing, and since there's not really that big of a story into it, it feels like something I could just sit down once in a while and just like, talk about it. But yeah, that's just what I want to talk to you guys about. Marvel Rivals has been my new addiction. It's really cool. I would highly recommend it if you really like hero shooters, team-based shooters, or if you just want to kill time. You're not really into like the live service games, or like some of your favorite games are just getting messed up. So yeah, I really enjoy Marvel Rivals, but at the same time, this also makes me more hopeful for the Marvel franchise as a whole. I think the movies might be getting a little bit better. And there's also going to be a discussion that we're going to have to talk about, which is, could Marvel Rivals lead to a new Marvel vs. Capcom game? Which it looks like it might, because at EVO they announced Marvel vs. Capcom 2 as one of the top 8 games. But that's another topic in itself. But yeah, I just want to say thank you guys for watching this video. Just me yapping about Marvel Rivals and how it killed other live service games for me. And I want to say thank you guys for watching. If this is your first time watching me, RicRom, the channel, I would say just drop a like, comment what you think about Marvel Rivals, maybe even drop a sub if you enjoy some of the content you see. It's not mostly going to be Marvel Rivals, but it's mostly going to be fighting game related content. But yeah, I just want to say thank you guys for watching, and until the next video or the next stream, I await your return, warriors. Goodbye and take care, and fight on.
Continue.